Hello everyone, welcome to Legal Darshan. In today's video, we are going to discuss case number 28, which is Republic of Italy versus Union of India and others. Now, this is one case which is talking of international sovereignty, international relations, what happens when Indian citizens are, affected or are harmed by foreign nationals in the water, in the territorial waters or in the water outside the country. Okay. Now, basically, before we delve into this judgment, we are going to discuss two aspects. One is the law of the sea and another is unclause. Okay, now what is in the judgment is, so what law of the sea says, we know we are not going into the full details of the topic law of the sea, but we are going to look at the limits. Okay, so up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline is territorial waters for any country from their baseline, when the water body starts from the baseline up to 12 nautical miles, even the water and even the airspace above it, the country can exercise its absolute sovereignty on that area 12 nautical miles. But when after 12 nautical miles, from these 12 nautical miles to more 12 nautical miles is contagious zone, and then from this, when the territorial water ends 200 nautical miles from there, we have exclusive economic zone. Okay, so these are the divisions we have. Now we have absolute authority, absolute sovereignty exercised in the territorial waters. But what happens when an accident happens beyond territorial waters, when an accident happens either in exclusive economic zone or in contiguous zone? Okay, so your contiguous zone is 24 nautical miles from the baseline, and your exclusive economic zone is from 200 nautical miles from the end of territorial waters. Okay, so now herein what is happening, the fact of this case is that there is an Italian vehicle, Enrica Lexi, the Italian vehicle, and there are two marines on it, two people who are using it, who are aboard it, who have aboard it. They are coming towards India. Okay, and what happens, they see one Indian boat, okay, one Indian boat, and kill the two people on it, the two boatmen on it. Okay, so Indian people in Kerala, from Kerala's coast, this is happening. Now, from two Indian people are killed by the Italian people, and this incident is happening at a distance of about 20.5 nautical miles from the Indian sea coast of the state of Kerala. Okay, so now we need to, why this 20.5 nautical miles is important here, because this is beyond the territorial waters over which we claim absolute sovereignty. Okay, so it is falling in contiguous zone, or you can say exclusive economic zone, but this is not following under the territorial waters. Now, what is happening in this case is that Kerala police registers an FIR and arrest the two Italians. The Italians, they were not the common Italians, but they were the part of Italian armed forces, and they were carrying on their purpose as according to the sovereign function. Now, when these two gets arrested, the Republic of Italy file a case in the Supreme Court of India, saying, file a case in the High Court of Kerala, contesting that this does not fall in your jurisdiction, because because law of the sea are unclause United Nation Convention on Law of the Sea, which is unclause, it provides that the only that jurisdiction will lie with the country in case of a vessel, in case of a vehicle which is navigating through waters in the country, which in the country whose flag is there on the vehicle. So Italian flag was there on the vehicle, and therefore Italy will exercise the jurisdiction. Now this particular argument, the Republic of Italy, when it is arguing the case of its two marines before the Indian court, they are making this argument based on Article 19 of the UNCLOS. Now, Article 97, pardon me, Article 97 of the UNCLOS basically provides that whosoever, uh, you know, whichever country, pardon me, whichever country holds a flag or whoever, whichever country's flag is over the vehicle, over the vessel, that country will have the jurisdiction to try the case in case of any accident or any collision that happen in the waters. Okay, now Italy is taking protection under Article 97, but Indian court herein is saying that it is not an accident, it is not a collision, but your countrymen, your armed services men fired gunshots at our citizens, and therefore we have the jurisdiction to try it, because Indian courts are also invoking the passive personality test here. Passive personality test is basically that it is the citizen of my country who are harmed, so I will have the jurisdiction. Now, the court herein is also invoking Section 2 of the Indian Penal Code. Now, Section 2 of the Indian Penal Code says that if the victim belongs to my country, because in Section 2 we are incorporating the passive personality test, that if victim is from our country, we have the jurisdiction to proceed with it, right? So now the case goes before the Supreme Court of India. Republic of Italy files the case before the Supreme Court of India, and Supreme Court, before Supreme Court, there are three issues to be adjudicated. Okay, so the first issue that the Supreme Court is adjudicating in the case of Republic of Italy versus Union of India is number one, that whether Indian courts do have jurisdiction to try the Italian Marines. Okay, the Italian armed men who, for the incident which occurred beyond the territorial water, because it is happening at 20.5 nautical miles from the coastline of Kerala, not within the 12 nautical miles. The second question that comes in this case is, okay, yes. So the second question that comes in this case is whether the Republic of Italy, the Italy is entitled to sovereign immunity, because it is being claimed. Okay, so that they are claiming that the officers were the staff of naval forces. The officer was actually pursuing the governmental function, the sovereign function, and it has been their training that that if they feel that there is piracy going around, they have the action to take measures. So basically, what happened in this case, Italian Marines, the two Italian Marines, they mistook the boat, the Indian boat, to be a pirate vessel. Okay, so they thought that there is piracy that is about to happen in the sea, and so thinking that these Indian fishing vessels are the pirate vessels, they opened the fire shots, and so the two people of India were killed. Okay, now second question is coming from the fact that it is our sovereign immunity, because we are exercising in discharge of sovereign function. Because if I think that piracy is about to happen with my country's ship, I have the right to protect it, I have the defense to protect it, and I have a defense to go along with it. Okay, to take some important measure to protect our ship, ourselves, from the piracy happening, right? Third question comes that this is a case involving international conflict, the conflict between two member states, Italy and India. So does state of Kerala has jurisdiction here, or the Supreme Court is, the authority to decide, or who is the competent authority to decide the matter? Because the concerned parties are India and the Italy, because it has become the dispute between two countries, not few people. Okay, and now how do you interpret UN clause, UNCLAUSE, United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea in this particular case, and how would you apply it? So basically, the Italian Republic was arguing that they were discharging the sovereign function, and therefore they should not be convicted, and therefore their jurisdiction should lie in Italy, and the trial should be done in Italy. And India has violated Article 97 of the UNCLAUSE. Now, India herein is saying that this accident has occurred up to 24 nautical miles. Okay, 20.5 nautical miles falls in the 24 nautical miles. We have the contagious zone. We can take we can exercise on it, because we have Indian Marine Act, we have the Maritime Act in India. We have, by the interpretation of 188 CRPC, section 188 CRPC, and by the interpretation of the Maritime Act, the jurisdiction of Indian court does extend to also the contiguous zone. This was the interpretation. So Union of India is contending its sovereignty over the contiguous zone as well. Okay, now government of India is saying that immunity is available. We understand that sovereign immunity is there, but what will we do of your immunity if you are harassing our citizens, or if you are firing gunshots at our citizens? So that immunity is not applicable. Okay, because India is not allowing Article 97 to be exercised here. India is not allowing that court should look at that, because Article 97, how Indian courts are interpreting is Article 97 of UNCLOS is basically when there is an incident happening, there is an accident happening between two vessels, then the when vessel who is bearing the flag of the nation can go and fight the case in the international forum or has the jurisdiction. Okay, but that is not the case in this particular scenario, because two people were killed voluntarily, gunshots were fired. Okay, even though they have the defense, but then two people of India were killed, and so sovereign immunity cannot the immunity cannot be claimed under Article 97 in this case. Now the judgment, Supreme Court judgment, what is happening in this judgment? Supreme Court is saying the first thing, that Kerala courts or Kerala police does not have a right to go into the trial of this case, because this is again a case between it's the case which is an interface of the domestic law and public international law. And therefore, only Union of India and not the state of Kerala has the power to exercise the jurisdiction over it. So the matter was referred to a special court, and court said that a special court shall be constituted, which shall be looking into the evidences. The court does not really touched upon what is the sovereign guarantees, but just said that a special court should be constituted, and that court shall be trying the matter based on the evidences. Okay. Now, another thing is saying that India has established an interface between domestic law and public law by way of CRPC, by way of IPC, as well as by way of the Maritime Zones Act of 1976 that we have. And it, because this incident happened, now because this incident happened, because this incident happened, number one, within 24 nautical miles, that is contiguous zone as well as exclusive economic zone, and also because we have a theory of passive personality, which is saying that my countrymen are victim. By application of this theory, we can say that sovereign rights can be exercised by India in this case. Okay. Now, another thing that the court herein is looking at, that the government is going to constitute a special case and a special court, and of course in proceeding initiated in Kerala should not be upheld, they were quashed in this case. Okay, so now court is basically asserting the Indian sovereignty over the contiguous zone of India as well, contiguous zone belonging to India as well in the sea. Now, what happens here? India's supremacy, jurisdictional supremacy in contiguous water is established by interpretation of Maritime Zones Act and by interpretation of Section 188 CRPC, also taking into account Article 245, Clause 2 of the Constitution of India, which says that no law shall be invalid just because it is being applied extraterritorially, right? So now, because it is being applied in extraterritorial jurisdiction. Now, what happens? Italy goes to Permanent Court of Arbitration and challenges it, because a long legal battle is there in the field. Italy and India are in the diplomatic battle, and now, therefore, under the UNCLOS only, United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, the Republic of Italy goes for international arbitration. Okay. Now, in 2020, this case is famously known as Enrica Lexi case, because Enrica Lexi is the name of the vessel. Now, what happened in 2020? Permanent Court of Arbitration is adjudicating, and it was ruled that India does not have a jurisdiction to try the Marines because they enjoyed functional immunity. Okay, sovereign immunity is being enjoyed by them, so they are protected. We know that when we read sovereign and insular consular relationship, we know that there is a sovereign protection we do give to the diplomats, the people belonging to that country. So functional sovereign immunity is being enjoyed by the Italian people there. And finally, in 2021, after the going on for the arbitration in permanent court of arbitration in The Hague, we finally settled, the Union of India finally settled this matter in 2021. Compensation was awarded by Italy for the loss of lives that happened in India, and this case was finally closed. Okay, so in India, we touched over the sovereign supremacy of waters. in contiguous zone as well, and that if there arises any conflict at international level or between two nation states, the authority vests with Union of India or the Supreme Court of India or a special court that could be constituted and not the specific state, for example Gujarat, Kerala, or any state which whose coastline is in the action or anything, and that government do not have the authority to adjudicate or to have a trial commenced on the matter. So this was the case of Republic of Italy versus Union of India. I hope this is useful for you. It is one important case we discuss in the judgment. Okay, now one more aspect is that the Supreme Court said that if we will not allow Article 97 to come in the existence, but Article 100 can be attracted, the Italian people, when the special court is constituted in India, Italian court may say that they may say in their defense that they were trying to avoid piracy, and that's when they did the attack, but that will be subject to trial in the trial court constituted by Union of India for this specific purpose. However, later the a resort to arbitration was made between India and Italy, and the fate, we know that in 2021 it finally got settled. All right, so this is it for the case of Republic of Italy versus Union of India. I hope this discussion was useful. For more such video, please stay tuned with us on LegalDarshan at the rate gmail dot LegalDarshan. You may also write to us at legaldarshan at the rate gmail.com. That's our email ID. Thank you everyone for watching. Please stay tuned. Have a very nice day. We will be coming with more such discussions very soon.